Hi there, Brian here, Dr. Brian. I did a video clip. I'd left my Bluetooth earpiece on, so the sound was particularly revolting, so I'm going to do a very quick replay. That might be good for you. You don't have to wait so long to get to the end. What am I talking about today? I'm talking about the idea that early habits actually create our lifetime patterns of behavior. I'm doing a 30-day challenge with ClickFunnels, which is a marketing software platform, and it's remarkably amazing. It's pretty cool. Anyhow, I've got a bit behind, and it's quite tempting to throw in the towel and give up. However, I was just musing on the fact that I'm just going to keep going. I'll be a bit late to the destination, but I'll get there. And I was thinking, yeah, that's kind of what happened when I was at police college. I left school, I went to the police. The motivations were in the bikini inspector class. One of my cousins had a boyfriend and he was a policeman, and my goodness me, he was stoppingly good looking. So, you know, and I watched various TV shows, and I could see that, you know, being the white knight had a certain appeal. However, it also had a downside when I was in training, and I realised it wasn't the right thing, and I wanted to bail out about 2/3 through. I thought this was a mistake, and it's not what I want to do for my life, so I'll just bugger off now. And Dad got involved and said, no, you won't. You will complete it, because it's not a good precedent to set this early in your life that you finish before you're done, because it's becoming difficult or unpleasant. And I'm very pleased that he insisted on that, and that I stayed to the end, because you know, I remained connected to a number of the guys I went through with, and I'd be nobody to them if I'd left before we finished. And I couldn't, it's nothing to talk about, it's nothing to say you've done 2/3 of something. And it means that now the going is a bit tough, but I've set a precedent that I keep going until I reach the end, and that's very powerful. You know, there are times when it's actually counterproductive to actually keep going when you're sort of obviously barking up the wrong tree, but there are other times when you know that you're working towards a desired outcome, but it's getting a bit sticky and hard. You're way better to keep going. And so the relationship of this conversation to, say, health, is that health is the product of habits, meal by meal, activity by activity, day by day. And health usually, almost always, is the product of a setting. So when people say, well, you know, they just had a heart attack, it's always, if you do ask enough questions, do enough digging, there's always a setting that makes things like that appear to come from nowhere have some logic. And so in that case, it's the little thing done every day that's actually negative that often accumulates into something that the body doesn't cope with and reacts badly to. And that's really thought, word and deed. It's actually everything. It's not as specific as they had butter on their toast. That's probably the least important reason. It's more, you know, the state of mind, and all those other habits. So for us as individuals, I think it's very important to ensure that we don't give up on our dreams, and that we actually, if you set a goal for yourself, and a health goal is one of the more worthy goals, because this vehicle that we spend our time in, if it's constantly breaking down, it makes it very hard to actually contribute at the level you want to contribute at. You know, a good health is something of an underpinning for a worthwhile contribution, and a worthwhile contribution is something that's worthwhile sticking at, and worthwhile putting everything in place so you can actually achieve the goal. You can actually do what you set out for. So when we're setting up our programs and we're working one-on-one, or working generically working in a group, it's really important that you stick with the basics. And the things that the body needs, as we've talked about, it needs a structural frame that's balanced and strong. It needs biochemistry that's not inflammatory, which gives you healthy cells, because unhealthy cells can only give ill health. You cannot get a healthy outcome from sick cells. And you want a nervous system that's communicating with the system as a whole, all the bits working as a whole. And then purpose and satisfaction in life at emotional level are very important, because we know that the thoughts that you hold manifest in the physical over time. So, and that's from biblical to Napoleon Hill to Joe Dispenza to any number of current thinkers, quantum physics people, leaders in the leading edge of the current science area, but they're not inventing anything or making anything new. They're actually highlighting through current dialogue something that's actually been at the core of religious and philosophical teaching and thought for thousands of years. So for all of us, staying on focus, staying on course, doing things every day that contribute to your goal is really, really critical. So that's my 5 cents worth for the day. I've somehow got to 6.5, nearly 7 minutes again. So I'll wrap for this Friday. Excuse me. End of the week. There's always tomorrow. We'll catch up again tomorrow. Please feel free to leave any comments, as long as they're polite, and ask questions. I do have a good base of information, and I'd love to answer questions where appropriate. Okay, I'll speak to you soon. You have a good week. Bye.